Hello, good night. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I am here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments so that I may answer your questions. Tonight, I have a great topic to talk to you about. It is getting a work permit while you're in the USA. How do you get a work permit? Now, it's an important topic. I get this question very often. One of the questions I do get is that I'm coming to the United States on my B2 visa. How can I get the work permit while I'm in the US visiting? Now, unfortunately, it doesn't exactly work that way. That is why I find it's very important for me to break it down for you tonight about what the work permit is all about. So if you're coming in on a B2 visa, that is a visitor's visa, and it explicitly prohibits you from working. However, if you're in the United States, say you're here without status, and you would like to figure out ways that you could obtain a work permit in the United States, then this live is going to be for you. Now there are different ways to do this. The work permit, when to get the work permit, you'll have to be applying for some sort of immigration benefit or a form of relief. So for example, if you're going through what's called the adjustment of status process, where you're applying for permanent residence through a family member, then you could obtain a work permit while you wait for that benefit to come through. Now, the work permit is not for individuals who are just coming here on a temporary visa, like a visitor's visa. And if you're coming in from another country and you'd like to work, then you would have to look at either changing your status or applying for a visa. But if you're already here and you qualify for any form of benefit or relief that allows you to get the work permit while you wait, then you can definitely go ahead and explore your options there. I'm going to talk about some of those options tonight to get the work permit. Now, if you're here in the United States, you're without status. And if you have a US citizen or a legal permanent resident, so in this case, if you're the immediate relative of a US citizen, that could be a path for you to obtain a work permit. So let me just clarify here. In the case that you're out of status and you are looking for a way to obtain a work permit in the United States and permanent residence, then you could do it through your US citizen relative if you're the immediate relative of a US citizen. Immediate relative of a US citizen means that you're the spouse of a US citizen, you're the parent of an adult US citizen who's 21 and up, or you are the son or daughter of a US citizen who is under 21 and unmarried. Now, if you do fall within this category and you're out of status because you overstayed your visa, in this situation, you could qualify for adjustment of status. That means you're changing over from being out of status to getting status through and getting permanent residence. But while you wait, you can then get the permanent, the work permit. So let me remind you that I'm also here to answer your US immigration related questions. Thanks so much for the love. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments. I will answer them as they come in. Tonight, I'm talking about getting a work permit while you're in the USA. All right. So let me take pause to answer. So for how long do I get visa for India now? Please let me know. So I don't know what type of visa. I know that the wait times can be long for India, especially when you're talking about waiting for an immigrant visa number to become available, but I don't know what visa you're referring to. Immediate relative to apply for wife and children. How long does this process take after the application? So Sonia, it's taking about, so you could be looking at an average of 18 to 24 months, more on the 2-year mark. However, keep in mind that this is an estimate based on my own experience as an immigration attorney. It doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the case for you. It's going to come down to your personal circumstances and how you qualify. Now, Sonjam, if you are a U.S. citizen, that's when your spouse and your children under 21 will be immediate relatives. Just making that clarification there. So great questions. Keep those questions coming. Bossy Cookie, thanks so much for the love. I appreciate it. So I'm a US citizen, so planning to go to India to visit my family. Okay, so you mean a tourist visa. So I don't deal with visas in India. You'd have to speak with an Indian immigration attorney. I only deal with the US immigration. So I don't deal with visas in other countries. I only deal with those who are coming to the United States, or you're already in the United States and you'd like to work. So keep those questions coming. I am here talking about ways to get the work permit. Now, who am I referring to get the work permit? Right now, when I talk about work permits, I'm talking about people who are already here in the United States, and you're trying to figure out a way to fix your status so that that will enable you to get your work permit while you apply for a certain benefit or relief. If you are outside of the United States coming in, you're going to have to look more at an employment-based visa to come into the United States to work. But for those of you who are here, and you're looking at your options for a work permit, I just talked about being the immediate relative of a US citizen. So it doesn't matter at this point if you came into the country with a visa, but you ended up overstaying. Sunshine, thanks so much for the roses. I appreciate it. You ended up overstaying your visa, then the adjustment of status may be for you if you're the immediate relative of a US citizen, the spouse, the parent, or the citizen, the son or daughter of a US citizen. And the son or daughter, you have to be under 21 and unmarried to qualify. All right, so I see some more questions here. Let me answer. Hi, how long does it take to get work permit and social after the biometrics is completed? So Anudu Raj, unfortunately, it's all over the place. So I wouldn't be able to tell you, when, and I'm not the attorney on your case. So I wouldn't be able to tell you when the work permit and your social security number is going to come after the biometrics appointment. But right now, work permits are taking anywhere from 4 months to 11 months to be processed. When we can expect marriage interview in the US after you file the I-130. So Kim Jat, if you file the I-130 and you file the adjustment of status interview, then you would be looking at your adjustment of status interview in the United States. Now, I don't know what your case is looking like, and I'm not the attorney on your case, so I wouldn't be able to advise you when you should expect an interview. But right now, you're looking at, a couple months to even up to 2 years to get that interview. Hello, what is the K1 visa process timetable? So you're looking at about 16 to 18 months for the K1. And also, Sunshine, though, keep in mind that it depends on which embassy you're going to be going through, what's their procedure right now. Some embassies have slowed down on K1 visa processing just because of the COVID situation. They may just be reviewing on a case-by-case basis. So it's going to depend on which embassy you're going through. Knowing that, I'll be able to advise. However, you could be looking at 16 to 18 months for the process. So can you join? Hi there, 49 Drake. So nice to see you. Thanks for joining me. Can you join your spouse who is a resident in the US before becoming a US resident? If yes, how? So yes, your resident spouse can apply for you to come to the United States and become a resident. Now it's called, if you're outside of the United States, then it is called the immigrant visa. Your spouse would get the immigrant visa to come to the United States. Once they are processed at the airport or the border, wherever they're coming into the country, and they are successfully processed, they'll become a permanent resident. As a matter of fact, Sunjam, it's a good time to apply for spouses, resident spouses, to apply for their immigrant spouses. Because there's no immigrant visa number wait list for an immigrant visa number. And that is what takes the most time. And so we're seeing the same processing times as there would be if there was a U.S. citizen sponsoring their spouse. Keep in mind, for residents, the timeline for this shorter timeline for residents is not necessarily going to last. The reason it's shorter right now is because there are more immigrant visa numbers to hand out than there are applicants. But as soon as that number is the applicants outnumber the number of visa numbers available, then it's going to go back to maybe years of waiting before you can obtain an immigrant visa to come to the US. Great questions so far. Keep those questions coming. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm also here to talk to you about ways to get a work permit while you are here in the United States. Now, when you're here in the United States and you're out of status, there are still ways to obtain a work permit while you're applying for the immigration benefit. I just mentioned if you're the immediate relative of a US citizen, that could be a way. But keep in mind that you should always schedule a consultation to make sure that you qualify, because just one fact can make a difference in the legal advice that I would give to you. Now, another is through VAWA. So VAWA is the Violence Against Women Act, but it is not just for women. It is not just for individuals in a marital situation. It is for the spouse of a U.S. citizen or resident. It's for the son or daughter of a U.S. citizen or resident, and the son or daughter is under 21, under 25 in some cases. And it is also for parents of U.S. citizens who are 21 and up who are being mistreated by these relatives. If you're being mistreated verbally, mentally, emotionally, financially, physical abuse is not necessarily required. Abuse is abuse, whether it's physical or it's any other way. But if you're going through this, then you could then qualify to apply for status here. And while you're waiting for the status, you could get your work permit. Then after you're granted the status, shortly thereafter, you could then move on to adjustment of status to get your permanent residence, your green card. So, and this counts even if you're out of status, even if you came into the country without permission, this could be applicable to you. It's confidential. You will be applying on your own. So you'll be submitting a petition on your own behalf. And it's actually against the law for the USCIS to, or the immigration office to share your information with the abuser. They're not supposed to be in touch with the abuser, send them any mail notifying them that you are applying for this. So does the waiver apply to Jamaican spouses of an American citizen? It depends on what waiver you're talking about, Rose Lorraine. In most cases, if we're talking about a waiver for forgiveness for certain immigration violations, as long as a waiver is applicable in your case, chances are it may very well require that you do have a U.S. citizen spouse. In most cases, the extreme hardship of the U.S. citizen spouse is going to count here. But Rose Lorraine, when it comes to waivers, it is a very complex topic, and you want to make sure that you get, make sure that you understand what you're in for. Don't underestimate your process. Have an attorney submit that waiver on your behalf and represent you through it, because it's going into complex territory. Rose Lorraine, you can always give me a call. There's a scheduling coordinator who's available tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. right up until 11 p.m. to take your call and then schedule your consultation. You can also schedule your own consultation by going to the link in the profile. So I have an I-140 issue. Do you deal in employment immigration? Yes, I do. But whether I can assist with this is going to depend, Majidio, on what the issue is. Who is the petitioner? What is the issue going on? And then I can evaluate and determine how to move forward. Other than VAWA, any other pathways to work permit and adjustment of status? So I did mention before that if you're the immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, that is one way, and VAWA. If you are also the victim of trafficking or you have been the victim of a crime, then also. Now, one thing that I want to stress here is that once you're out of status, you are likely going to have to fix your immigration status through humanitarian means or through a family member. Even if you're going through an employer and that employer is petitioning for you, if you don't qualify for adjustment of status, you're going to have to qualify for a waiver based on the extreme hardship of your U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, spouse, or parent. So this is why this topic is so important, and that's why family immigration is so important, because when it comes to, I assist clients to fix their status here. When they're out of status, I help them to figure out ways that they can function here in the United States. And it usually comes down to what is the family relationship that they have here in the United States to be able to fix their status. So that is why this topic is very important for you to know, because at the end of the day, it's probably going to come down to how do you qualify? And when you're out of status and you need to fix that situation, what family relationship do you have in a lot of cases? All right, so I am going to head on over to Instagram. So our conversation does not have to end here. I am going to head on over there where I'm going to continue this conversation. If I didn't get to your question, you can go ahead, hop on over to Instagram. I'm the Immigration Attorney on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook at ST Law Office. You can also follow me on Facebook or on Instagram, where I release content all throughout the day, tips, entertaining videos, immigration updates. So you can go ahead and join me there, follow me there, so we can continue this conversation there. All right, so I have a good night if I don't see you in a minute. And remember that the information I gave you tonight is not legal advice, it's general information. And so if you have a particular situation, you want to make sure that you increase your chances of successfully going through your process, you should schedule a consultation. You can do that by calling the number on my profile. You can visit the link in my bio. It's going to take you to the website where you can book your own appointment, or you can go directly to the website. You can call, you can fill out a contact form. You can do online chat if the scheduling coordinator is available. So have a good night. Hope to see you in a minute. Hope to speak with you in a consultation. See you soon.